Hello, lovers.
Dun-dun-dun-dun, dun-dun, dun-dun-dun-dun, dun-dun, dun-dun, dun-dun-dun-dun. Okay. Yep, so we're live right now. I can see myself on the other screen. Official. Hello, lover.
Hello, lovers.
Welcome to the City.
Our weekly recap of watching an episode of Sex in the City and then discussing it from a witchy tarot lens.
That's right. We're five
Mhm.
people right now on my channel watching. I am Y from On the Cusp Tarot. This is for all your listener out there.
Hmm.
And we have Miss Stella Speak, Basic Witch.
Mhm. Advanced witch. Advanced.
What is your opening for your podcast?
How does it go? It goes, okay. Thank you for listening to Stella Speaks, a DIY podcast about advanced witchcraft. Basic witch, please. That's our opener.
And let's see who is in the room here on the YouTube land. We have Drew. Hi, Drew. Thank you for being such a loyal supporter of this wacky impromptu Hacks in a City series. It means the world to us that every single one of them, you are here. So, a joy.
Love it. A joy.
Love it, Stella. And we have Hector Vibrato. I can't say the third one. Contreras Miranda.
There you go. Mm-hmm.
Another great supporter of my channel. Thank you. Thank you.
Always has a perspective on Sex in the City too.
Right? So good. So
Mhm.
good.
Yeah.
I'm in Chicago right now. I'm in Chicago right now. I went for
How
a
does
walk.
it feel?
Oh my goodness. I feel Sex in the City. I feel like very Carrie. Thank you so much. I
Mhm.
took a walk and the wind is blowing in my hair and I have that moment of flying off just like the episode itself. It's so good.
I loved that part. I was like, because again, this is that first season where they're kind of deciding what they're doing. And I was like, what would Sex in the City be like if there were more like dreamy sequences like that, you know?
Yeah.
I was just like, ooh, that could have been interesting. Yeah, that was
Stardust is here. Conscious Stardust.
Hello, Conscious Stardust.
Delina? What?
I'm not sure.
Delilina? Anyway, well, welcome. Conscious Stardust. The pronunciation is getting better. Why? Thank you. I'll keep on practicing. Okay, let's jump right into it. We are doing episode 5. And the name of the episode was The Power of Female Sex. Ladies and gentlemen, I am ready. I'm ready for this episode.
It was really in my wheelhouse, and there were a couple of little moments too that I was like, oh, that's the first time we saw that. Oh, that's gonna come back. Like I was really excited about that.
So good.
So are we ready to do our draw?
Yes, one card draw. Explain to our viewer, listener, what do we do?
Okay, so each time right before the episode, we discuss the episode, we draw one card from a tarot deck, or I usually use an oracle deck, but I'm going to use a tarot deck this time. And then we take that reading in the context of the episode. So what did it have to do with the episode? What message should it have?
So if you have a tarot deck, go ahead, draw a card if you want. Join in for the game.
And while we're shuffling, just as a super quick recap for those of you who are really good, you know, you're a fan of Sex and the City, but you're like, episode 5, what does that mean? That's the one where Carrie has that date with that dreamy French architect, and he
Mhm.
leaves her a little cash money after their interlude.
$1,000 cash.
$1,000 cash, and there's the whole episode is kind of about money, power, and the intersection of those things together. Oh, Charlotte gets her vulva painted. I mean, that makes it sound like she had paint on her vulva, which didn't happen. But like her pussy was the subject of a portrait of a famous artist who was doing like a vagina series.
The vagina series.
The vagina series, like the vagina monologues, but the vagina portraits. All right. I think I've got my card. All right.
Which deck are you using?
I am using, oh my gosh, my friend Sarah from Corn Fed Witch gave me this deck for my birthday 2 years ago. It's the Cat Tarot.
I don't have it and I want it.
It's cute. I'll show you a few. So like there's the Queen of Pentacles. So the pentacles are mostly like cat food. And then swords are mostly related to claws. Cups are related to like little bowls. So that's the Two of Cups. See the two little kitties have their tails wound together and they're drinking out of the same cup of milk, sort of Lady and the Tramp style. And then some of the majors are really funny. The majors are my favorite. Like here's the Hanged Man, and it's a cat stuck in a tree hanging upside down, which is really cute. I forget if death is a vacuum cleaner and the devil is a dog. And then I don't know. I think it's an adorable deck.
So cute. So cute.
It's really cute.
I'm sticking to the Muse Tarot for this whole first season, season 1. I'm using the Muse Tarot. What card do you have?
I have the Two of Swords reversed.
Two of Swords reversed. Okay.
Which shows a cat, and the swords are like his two fangs, because you really only see his two top teeth, his two top fangs. And then, speaking of a cat, my sister's cat just walked across. I'm pet sitting. This is Swiper.
Oh my God, you guys.
Swiper is tiny and adorable, and she is the best. She's been my little best friend. We've just been hanging out all the time.
So cute. Well, look at the card again.
Okay, yeah. So it's like a ginger cat that's kind of yawning, I think. It could be hissing, maybe. And then you just see the two little fangs, but it's reversed. So I'm going to go ahead.
You go ahead. You finish first.
So I'm going to look up the meaning not because I don't know what the Two of Swords is, but this deck actually is really cute. The way that it describes all the different cards. It's like in a cat phrasing in a way. It's really cute. So I'm going to look that up while you can show yours.
Everybody in the chat is going crazy right now about Swiper.
Okay, so she does swipe things. So if you know Swiper from Dora the Explorer, their little thing is they go, Swiper, no swiping. Well, Swiper, she steals clean clothes. So she steals socks and she steals underwear. And what she does is she pretends to kill it. Like she meows really loud and you're like, Swiper, what are you doing? And then she like drags it to you like she killed it for you. She's trying to feed me with socks. She's a little huntress. She's a little lion.
Oh my goodness. Okay, so my one card draw was the Six of Inspiration, which is the Six of Wands. And I do have to say, look at it's so I love this deck. The coloration is so beautiful.
It's really beautiful.
And Six of Wands is all about victory, parading and winning, coming back, the parade. This card reminds me of, which is one of my favorite character of all time in Sex and the City, Amalita.
Oh, she's so much fun.
You're crazy, Carrie. Her laugh. Oh my God. Like this reminds me of her. Like she's living her life foolish. She doesn't care about money,
Mhm.
label, using her power, using her sex whatsoever. It's a huge, living life victory moment for me. I like that reminds me of her.
Mhm.
What about your two of sword upside down?
So it says, you're still feeling stuck. Is part of you intentionally failing to grasp the situation at hand? It's time to let go of the past. It's not helping or informing your circumstances. Think very carefully before you make a decision or open your mouth. You do have to act, but not in haste. I think that's sort of Carrie. Like she's having all these feelings about like did I do the right thing? Did I do the wrong thing? And she has that moment like, should I just go? Should I just go to Italy and be Amelita? And
It is,
yeah.
it is the interesting moment in that series. Okay, I want to see the card one more time. I have to say it. I have to say it. All the female in the room will probably slam me in the face. It reminds me of the painting.
Oh, because the big open mouth
Yeah.
with like the tongue and all of that.
Yep. Yes.
Yeah, maybe a little. I mean, it's a pussy, so
And
yeah.
I don't want to, but it's awful, very politically incorrect. But when we were younger, way back when we were younger, the gay community, the gay men would say they have fangs.
The
That's why we,
vagina dentata.
yep, if you tuck it in, it will bite it off. It will just bite the whole thing off. So don't put it in. That's the running joke, which is awful to say. But that picture, that card, I'm like,
You were like,
which is perfect also because Charlotte in this episode, her vagina was being painted.
yeah.
It's
And
funny.
she had to really come to like, oh, am I doing this? Am I not doing this? And that's one of the things about Charlotte too, is that I think when we talk about the characters, we're always like, we like Samantha and we like Carrie, right?
Mhm.
And then people are always like, oh, Charlotte's just a wasp. Oh, she's so boring. Oh, she's so whatever. But I think like throughout the series, you see her really. I mean, she's in the art community, and she like really does like push her boundaries on a lot of stuff.
Which is I do think that is a very interesting. I don't know what's the English word for it. Like just position, is that the right word?
Juxtaposition, maybe
Yeah.
putting two things.
Yeah, when you're you would imagine an art dealership person, an art person, seeing all this art will be like super eccentric, super, like, oh, I'll up for anything. But she's an art dealer, but at the same time, she's super conservative, which is like intriguing to me to think it that way.
And I kind of feel like that in the witchy community a little bit. I mean, I think conservative would be a stretch, but like if you think of like the witch aesthetic, right? Like the craft or something, like tattoos and dark clothes and being serious and being like gothy in a way. Like I'm super, I mean, yeah, I'm interested in death and witchy things, but like I think if people don't see me and think witch, I'm very like I have sort of a Charlotte aesthetic a little bit, sort of a Charlotte Carrie hybrid, like I'm wearing my little polka dots right now and whatever. I cross stitch and drink tea, and so people are like, oh, but then she does, oh. So yeah, I mean, I feel like there is something about like the way that you look or act in your industry or your circles that you run around in when you're not quite the norm. That's interesting there too, yeah.
Okay. There's an echo. Is it me or you? Hold on.
I don't know.
I'll turn down my mic, or maybe I'll slap away. But that's better. Okay. What's your talking point? What do you want to talk about?
I have notes. Also, look, the cat's still here. She's just in my lap. She's gonna be here the whole time. She's my new best friend.
A pussy
I
on a
might have
pussy.
to. I might have to. It's pussy time. I might just need to sneak her home with me.
Oh my God!
Okay.
Like we have like you're using a cat deck. You have a cat on your cat. This is
Yeah.
this is
Pussy is just the theme. Pussy
it is
is
the
just
power of female sex. Okay,
for sure.
I'm gonna
Oh,
jump
I have
in.
one. I have one. It's super minor, but I thought it was interesting, and you'll know about it because of the artist's way.
Mhm.
I thought that was really interesting, and this is the first time that we're exposed to Carrie's like shopping addiction or her shoe thing.
Mhm.
Like that's pretty new,
Mhm.
and I think that's the first episode that we've thought of her as in relation to fashion at all. And I thought maybe there was a little moment in the last episode. But yeah, that part where she says that she was trying shopping as a way to unlock the creative subconscious. And I
Shut
was like, yeah, of course you wanted to talk about it too.
shut.
Why is it written down as a note?
Now
I
all the people
know.
in the chat right now, you understand why Stella and I are such good friends is because our vibration is pretty much like that.
Pretty
In
pretty
yeah, it's pretty much the same in a way.
right. Yeah, so I don't know. I was sort of thinking about that in two ways. I
Mhm.
was like thinking about Julia Cameron, who wrote the book The Artist's Way. And she has this concept of the artist's date, which once a week for like an hour or at least, you go and you do something by yourself that's just to enjoy yourself and to kind of fill your creative cup. And it doesn't have to be anything artistic. It could be going to Dolce & Gabbana and looking at shoes. Swiper's making another appearance. So I thought that that was interesting. And as a writer and a procrastinator, I was like, I wonder if you're really filling up your creative cup or are you procrastinating?
So yeah, so the question is shopping, a way to unleash your creative subconscious. What do you think in the chat room? If you agree, disagree, for all you tarot people out there collecting tarot, shopping for tarot, having millions of tarot decks, does using different tarot decks unleash your creative subconscious? Does it somewhat tap into your psyche and but the act of shopping, that's what we want to know, right? For me is yes, in a way, depending on the circumstances, depending on the intention. In Carrie's episode, no, that's an excuse. It is an absolute excuse. I don't. Well, maybe if she's gonna write about the shoots, if she's gonna write about the experience, yes, because it taps into the subconscious of like, what am I doing? Why am I doing this? Then if you write about it, sure, it created some kind of, product or result to it, right? But you can't, I don't know, like it's 50-50 in a way. Like if I'm intentionally, okay, I want to buy a deck and that deck is going to help me understand this and this and this and really tap into like my I don't know, my ancestral history. If this deck is going to connect me to my grandmother, to my past, and I really like, because then it will become a tool for me to really into that realm of subconscious. So I would say yes and no.
I feel like it kind of depends. Like I like to go, especially when I'm traveling, I really do like to go into new age or witchy or botanica type shops and just see what they have that's different and feel the energy of it. But it does make me feel weird sometimes because I think of doing witchcraft as partially like my religion, right? And so I'm like, do Christians and Muslims and everybody like, do they go shopping at the Christian store in every town they go to. Like, I don't know. I sometimes get in my head about it. And then, but if for like creative wow shopping, thrift stores. Because you don't know what you're going to find. And so, like, sometimes that will it's more of like a hunt than I'm not a big clothes or shoe shopper, really.
All right, let's look at the chat and what they say. I asked the question, shopping, way to unleash your creative subconscious, yes or no? Actress said yes, but not a Dolce. Ding, ding, ding. Jennifer Kate said, I hate clothes shopping, but hobby supply shopping could definitely fill my cup. Girl, oh, I'll be so broke. Thank God I am not good at craft. Thank God I'm not good at it. If I am, I will be broke.
My friends who knit and sew, oh my gosh. They call that a separate hobby. They're like, oh yeah, collecting yarn is totally a separate hobby than knitting. I'm like, okay.
Wow. Okay, Drew said, depends on the intent behind it feels. Thank you. Agree with it. I window shop for inspiration, but for me, shopping is more practical focus, which is very true because you can do window shopping. You can browse through things. So it's kind of shopping, but not legit spending money on a shop, So that's true. Conscious starter say yes. I think it can be an outlet, and I think the act of finding, that's the good way. Finding something that resonates with you can be inspirational because it's the hunt. It's the hunt that going through, and because you also have to decide, what is what do you like, what you don't like, right? And what else? Hello, Iranian Pride. Thank you for joining the live. Right on one, I agree on how you approach the shopping experience. Thank you so much. Good. Okay, next talking point. Oh, wait, one more. Yes, I'm trying to do more shopping in my own house to use what I have in a new way versus buying. Yep, completely.
Yeah, I love that. Yeah, I love
that. That is creative. That is creative right there.
Some of my best outfits come when I have all my laundry is dirty, right? And so I'm like all my usual, all the greatest hits, right? And I get the most compliments on the weird stuff that I'm like, oh, well, I have this and I have this thing and I'll put these together. I'm like, oh, this could work. I think this could work. I love that shopping at home.
Okay, so that one talking point, it's about 22 minutes in. Let's dive into the heavier stuff, the more about this episode. One thing, if it's gonna make you cringe, man gives, women receives. Girl.
I think that this part was so fascinating to me because I run around in all these feminist circles, right? And that's actually kind of a feminist way of thinking. Like, there are some schools of feminism that are very gender essentialist, and they're very much like empower by receiving. Like, okay, don't feel like you have to give and project all the time, right? Like, you don't have to do as much. You should allow yourself to receive. And some schools of magic are really like that too. Like, solar energy is masculine and lunar energy is feminine and receptive and like all of that. And gosh,
so
it's a lot.
Right? In your witchy circle, it's some witch circle, metaphysical circle, any of those circles, it does feel that way. The masculine energy is always like, and the feminine energy is a little bit more reserved, inside, within. The high priest, right? It's always like within, right? But then in society, the situation that is like, are you like what do you think about it when it comes to society's standard?
Well, I'm kind of like Samantha, and not in really her sense of do whatever you want just to get power. I'm not quite to that point. But I do understand too, like socially it's not a level playing field.
Mm-hmm.
So I'm pretty willing to understand what women and other marginalized communities do to gain power. You know what I mean?
Mm-hmm.
So I'm not quite to her point because I'm more of a carry. like I'm like, oh, okay, now I'll try it out. And I'm like, oh, this isn't for me, but I totally saw Miranda's point too, that you don't want to feel obligated or exploited or like you have to use your sexual prowess to get what you want.
Right,
Like
correct.
you shouldn't have to do that. Where I feel like Samantha's position is more like, well, the world is the way that it is, and I'm going to do what I need to do to thrive in it. And if that means not playing nice, then that's just the way that it's going to have to be.
Mm-hmm, mm-hmm, mm-hmm.
And I feel like Carrie and Charlotte's positions were more moralizing, like what's the right thing to do.
Drew said that being a gay man who's raised in a family of mostly women, it's hard for me to feel qualified in answering, which is an interesting perspective. Being a gay man, me also, when I see these kind of statement, it's so limiting in a way
Yeah.
that's like so structural, like it's created to limit something. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
You know
And
what
then
I'm
it's
saying?
that whole BS about like who's the man in the relationship, who's the woman in the. It's like, there's not a woman in the relationship. We're gay. That's the point.
Exactly. And then because the way that it phrased, immediately people think that man has more power. Who is saying that receiving is not having power? Like, girl, it takes a lot to receive. Being a gay man, we know. Okay, thank you. So don't receiving is not a power play there. Like, why can't it be like women receive men gifts? That's why women should have more power. Like, it's always like, oh, because the giving is the one that has more power. I'm like, that's BS. What do you mean? But,
yeah.
My personal preference is to remove gender, thank you, from the equation. All are capable of giving and receiving. Thank you. Is the position. It's the position that matters.
Right.
I didn't watch the episode, but I generally reject the idea that any gender does all of the anything in relationship.
Yeah. Yeah.
Yeah.
I've been happier when there's less gender expectations. And I think that that's another thing. Like, I think the gender expectations are kind of easy, right? Because then you know whose job is to do what, right? Right? Like, who asks who on a date and all that kind of stuff, like, yeah, when you're in those mixed gender relationships, sure. But I feel like when when the one person is expected to do all of anything, I don't think that it's healthy. Like, then that's why like men don't feel comfortable sharing their feelings because they have to be like the strong one. And then like women are like these superhero martyrs doing everything for everyone and not doing anything for themselves because they feel like that's the expectation. So I think relaxing those expectations makes people feel better.
Which also, then I'm also wondering, this is because it can tap into your territory, well, witchcraft, the idea of witches and is it warlock? Yeah, warlock. Like, what do you is that such a thing, or is it still a gender play? Women should stick with being witches and guys should stick with being a warlock, or does it even matter? What do you think?
So witch is a gendered word, right? Like when you hear witch, you think woman. But in the circles that I'm in, we call male practitioners witches. So women are witches, men are witches. And warlock, we don't really use that word. It comes from a Scottish word that means oath breaker. And so warlock is a word that like non-witches use. And I think there are probably a few magical practitioners who call themselves warlocks, but we don't really do that. We call men witches too.
Okay.
Or magicians. I mean, it depends on the kind of magic you do. But people, if you do what I'm doing and you're a man, you still call yourself a witch. Or if you're non-binary or you're whatever, like agender, like, yeah, you're still a witch. It's not a gendered word. It feels like a gendered word because society, and that's important. I think that's kind of part of why we keep it that way. Instead of being like witches and sorcerers or witches and wizards, we just say witch, like everybody's a witch.
I like it. I like it. I want to be a witch. What do you mean warlock? I guess I can, but then I also like the word wizard, but I'm like, but I'm not really a wizard. Like, I'm like, wizard is like super, I don't know. Wizard feels like it's immortal that lives forever.
Yeah.
Maybe
or like you have a lot of books and you're old. You know, it's like, you'd be like, oh, this is a 5-year-old wizard. You know, like it feels like it's an old thing. I don't know. I like the word wizard, but I love the word sorcerer and sorceress. I like those. Mm-hmm.
Which is also kind of interesting going into, because we are both performers of actor and actress.
Oh, yeah.
You know what I'm saying? Like, I don't know. Like, I don't have a problem of actor and actresses, but I do understand the disrespect, if you want to say, to kind of separate the outstanding actress and outstanding actor, because it's also creating the wages inequality or whatever. Guys more, female actress, actor get less, and all those stuff. But I don't know. I use actor for everyone now.
Yeah.
Some people like, some people don't.
Yeah. I don't know. That's like evolving. Like back in the day, we used to have author and authoress, poet, poetess. Like it used to be like we had to always. So I like the idea of it being things being gender neutral, like firefighter, not firewoman, fireman, firefighter, police officer, not policeman. You know, I like the idea of that, but I still really like goddess. Like I feel like when I say God, like it makes me think it's still too masculine for me. Like I don't feel like it's neutral.
Which is also very interesting. For me. I feel like most of the deity that people work with are leaning towards goddesses. You know what I'm saying? Nobody really works with Zeus.
I know some people who are into gods.
Yeah?
Yeah.
Tell me more.
Okay, so I have a priestess friend she works with Mercury and Dionysus a lot. And then I have a non-binary friend who's, well, I mean, their practice is kind of evolving, but they were all kind of had all male deities too. So I don't know.
Sometimes I feel like I do want to work. Maybe I should work with Dionysus, but I feel like I am Dionysus already. Except the wine. Okay.
Except for
do you have another talking point? If not, I have another one.
You go ahead. I have another, but I don't remember.
Money versus sex. Money versus sex. Money versus sex. Money versus sex. Which one is more powerful?
Which is more powerful?
In your standard. We're not talking about like we are the master of saying this is it. We're just saying personal experience from your point of view, Stella. Money versus sex. Which one is more powerful?
Like in my life?
Yeah, in your life, in your experience, in your concept, in your subconscious?
Okay. So I'd say sex.
Okay.
Just because I feel like that drives a lot of my decisions. Like, you know, who I'm with, and I'm very like creatively connected to sexual power and stuff. I don't know. But then if I think about it logically, I'm like, well, do I have sex for 40 hours a week? Probably not, but I work 40 hours a week to make money to live my life. So I guess like the practical part of me is like, well, you have to like live in society and pay taxes. So I guess money is more powerful. But I mean, there are things I'll do for sex that I'd never do for money. You know?
Right there. That's interesting to say here. There's something you would do for sex and never for money.
Right.
Interesting. For me, it's 50-50. It's a circle. It's a never-ending circle for me. So I can't weigh in on which one is more powerful. But if I personally believe, I feel like sex is a little bit more powerful. For me anyway, because I don't know. I can say no to money, but sometimes I cannot say no to sex.
Yeah.
That's like awful.
But there's also a thing too about sex being more, and that's part of what this is about, is it being more sacred.
Yeah.
And that idea of, well, where Samantha's like, well, they're both power. Money is a currency, sex is a currency. You traded one currency for another currency. Who cares? And I think for me, that sex is kind of sacred and powerful to a point where, like, I don't judge sex work. You do you, not my business. But like that exchange for me, it feels like it cheapens both of those energies.
Interesting. Because okay, well, let's look at the chat right now. Hack said money at this point in history anyway, and then Iranian price said money because money will bring in sex, which is very true. People buy sex, which is also true because nowadays, because also of the porn industry, you know, OnlyFans or whatever, it's become setting such a standard in a way that you can buy anything. You really can buy anything, even very personal, private moment. You know, like broke college student, even like anyone, like it's become so normalized. Like, oh, you know, you want to see me naked cooking dinner? Pay me $9.99 a month, and you can, you know, and they are happy to do it. Nothing's even sexual, right? I am working out naked. $9.99 a month, OnlyFans. There's so many naked tarot reading, $9.99 a month. Subscribe to my OnlyFans. Like I'm providing a service, but I'll be nude, right?
Mm-hmm.
Like things like that. It's become so normalized, and of course, that's why money can buy into sex for sure, right? Drew said that frankly, sex sells more often than not, which is very true. A lot of things in media now, everything is there's an undertone of sex in it, which is what you've been saying. Sex is sacred, and I think that's why people can tap into it and they want it, right? Mm-hmm. Depending on the association, is more motivational. Sex. Hello, Lucy's here. If I have to ask you a question, which is frankly, you can think about it. If heaven exists and God is there, and then God is like, I asked this question to many of my friends also, because of an interesting exchange with me and my friend. Let's put it that way. If you can choose for your next life, you can be a drug dealer or a sex worker. Either or, nothing else. Which one will you choose? So think about it. And then I'm going to tell you the story. So I was, I have a friend that I hooked up with. Samantha here. Thank you. And he's a very nice guy, super nice guy. He's a Leo. He's very prideful, right? And we have sex, and I consider him as a friend. We talk about stuff and talk about life, what I'm going through with my father, and he is going through a tough time because he teach volleyball and he teach like young children, or not young children, like middle school to high school disabled students. So with the COVID, he's losing money, and he can't really have a stable job. And we were just talking. We were wondering. I'm like, well, I was. You can just do an OnlyFans. Who cares? And then he was like, I cannot teach anymore if I put an OnlyFans. And then if I do that, I might as well be a drug dealer. For me. And I was like, what? What do you mean? And he said, well, if I do OnlyFans, I will never be able to teach anymore. What do you mean? I might as well sell drugs. And I'm like, okay, good point. Never mind. Let's do women for the day. But that was the mentality because it's so easy, so sex driven nowadays with the society. Do an OnlyFans, get some money, who cares? But then he come back with like awakening moment. I'm like, oh my God, there's still purpose in life. So what will be your answer?
Okay, what kind of sex work are we talking here? Anything?
Anything.
I was going to say drug dealer, but no. Because, a dominatrix doesn't have to actually have sex with that person.
Very true. Yep.
They just say, you're stupid, clean my house. Shut up. Go pee in this little children's potty or something. I think I could do that. I don't know. I don't think I could strip. I would just be laughing. I can't imagine doing that. I don't think I want to have sex for money. I think it's dangerous. I don't know. I guess drug dealing is dangerous too.
My other friend also said, well, if we're all kind of like circumstantially kind of like putting labels on it. Well, what kind of drug am I dealing? Am I helping people to release their anxiety? All my friends are very like, new agey and stuff. So, well, if that's the case, then sure. But then if I'm going to be a sex worker, if I can do like tantric sex, just kind of like a really healing experience with the, with my client and really letting them see God and goddesses, that's sure. I will be a sex. I'm like, well, you're not really answering the question, but sure. But which also kind of brings down to either way, we see it as bad, right? Drug dealers, sex worker, it does have a healing effect in it, like what she said, right? If I'm going to be a tantric sex worker, I'm really teaching people to embrace the sex and you tap into that energy and become more healing, and drug dealers that are actually dealing with drugs that is healing purposes, marijuana whatsoever, not so crazy addictive drugs, right? For me, it will be sex worker. Because I feel like sex worker, I'm a little bit more in control. If that makes sense, because I feel like drug dealer doesn't have the circumstances can be a little bit tricky. If the drug is not good, I don't know. I'm a little bit more leaning sex worker because I'm a little bit more in control, which is maybe a false delusion. But
I don't know. I feel like that's a man-woman thing too, because I would feel much more unsafe, like if it's like a street walking type situation, because women get hurt in those situations,
Okay, Lucy asked, what was the setup for the question? Kevin got what?
Well, it's all related to power and the choices that we make, and kind of Carrie's thing about like, should I just take the easy way and just go party in Italy and date beautiful Frenchmen who give me thousands of dollars on the nightstand?
Yeah, so it leads to my experience that I was talking to a friend, blah, 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 and then I come up with a question. If you are in heaven and God is like, for your next life, you have two paths. You have drug dealer or sex worker. Which path do you want to choose? And I've been asking my friends, which path do you want to choose? And then it's very interesting to see who is saying who, which path they're gonna choose. I, Kitty Corner Recovery says sex worker. The time is less than a drug dealer.
There you go. She's thinking about. She's like marketing. I gotta move all this product. I have to have a source. It's retail basically. We want to work in retail. No, people are rude. Too much customer service. Well, I guess there's customer service in the other one.
Spit on them. Stella has convinced me.
Yeah.
Female power to the point. I would say sex worker, but again, it all depends on. It's true. It's all depending on. It's one of those questions that is kind of like. Either way, the circumstance is presentable in a way that is rhetorical. In a way, like it is what it is. Both of them are dangerous. Both of them are powerful. Money versus power, right?
Mm-hmm.
Okay.
Oh, Kitty's Corner meant prison time.
Oh,
like less time in. We're so practical here. Like if I'm gonna go to jail, I'm gonna go to jail like forever for drugs.
Oh my goodness. Do you mind me thinking about the actual working time? Oh dear God. 45 minutes in, maybe time for us to close up. Anything else you want to talk about?
Oh, the tampon. I really loved that part.
Oh, when the
really loved that.
Powerful women in the episode is the hostess host being able to get the tampon from Carrie. It's a very female bonding moment.
Yes. I loved that tampon part because Samantha is doing that thing where she's like really in competition with this woman and like, oh, you're not giving me what I want. And it's like, it's just because she's young and she's a woman and I want to talk to a man and blah, 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 And then there's just that. But the moment where it's like, Carrie's like, no, of course, here's a tampon. I got you. And then they were able to, get into that restaurant without any problem for as long as the place was open, according to the episode. And I feel like that message, when it was right at the end, was the best one because it was like, okay, we can think about like how we get power from our sex, we get power from money, we get all these ways that we're trying to get power, right?
Mm-hmm.
What sisterhood, like helping each other out, and it's that being a way for power. I thought that was really awesome. I loved that.
Right, because also like it feels like when Samantha was saying, if we were a man right now, we would have seated and they would have brought up free drinks and free appetizer whatsoever, right? Which is coming from a very like masculine point of view, like men will get it, women cannot. And then at the end of the episode, it's like completely different. The way that Samantha, the man tactic, I give him, give her 20, to bribe or whatever, right? Then the female bonding experience is completely like 180 around, which is so beautiful.
And I didn't remember this episode, and so I was like on pins and needles because I was like, what I didn't want to have happen. It's like that episode of Seinfeld with the toilet paper. If you remember that, where it's like, can you spare a square? And then like,
no, I don't.
Later on, okay. So there's this whole episode where Elaine is in the bathroom and she asks the woman next to her for toilet paper, and the woman won't give her any. She's like, well, I'm out. And she's like, I don't have enough. I don't have any I can spare. And then later in the episode, the situation is reversed. And she's like, well, I'm not going to give you toilet paper because you didn't give me toilet paper. And so I was sort of thinking about that episode, and I was thinking about like the way that it could have gone. It could have been like, oh, you thought you had power over me, well, you need a tampon. Guess what, bitch? You can bleed all over yourself. I'm out of here. But Carrie doesn't do that.
Mhm.
She's like, of course, here you go. And so, yeah, I loved that part.
Which is saying, true power lies in compassion, I feel. Love is the strongest tool in life, and the tampon talk reminds me of that, which is very true. Which is very true. This is like my third or fourth favorite episode from the whole 6th season. Me too. The reason also is just Amelita. I just love her so much. The way that she's like with that cigarette, with the smoke, like you crazy, Carrie. You crazy. Oh.
She reminds me of you when you're in a really good mood. Like you're just like, yes, let's go do the things. We're gonna walk down the streets of Chicago. Life is wonderful.
That's deep dark inside. If I can be Amelita every day, I would. I would sell my sex. I would have fabulous jewelry. I would travel to Venice. I would travel to Paris, and I have my gorgeous tiny penis lover that knows how to work with his penis, and I will be Stella. Oh, Dolce. No, how many times I have give you a Christmas present? It's yours. It's yours. I'll be just like that. I would be just like that to all my viewers right there.
Yeah.
Oh my goodness, a tarot deck out of print. Who cares? How much? $10,000. I will buy that tarot deck for you. Who cares?
She's very generous. And the other part I loved about her character too is she's not competitive and she won't take anyone's BS. Because like Carrie's like, I feel bad about I can't do I'm in bed. She's like, shut up, you're beautiful. Just get down here. Like, it's fine.
You crazy, Carrie. You're so funny. Oh, I love it. Maybe that's
so positive.
But that's what we need to. I don't know. We don't need to. We need that quiet moment also. But sometimes that actress, that character has portrayed so much. Because sometimes I also wonder, like, at the end of the day, does she cry in bed? Does she?
Right.
But I don't think so.
I think she enjoys it.
She just loves it. She's like, who cares? Who? She will be 80 years old and she will be the same, with Carlos or whatever. Carlos brought me this yard. I can't even drive it. But oh well, anyway, who cares?
Who cares? Life's great. I'm fabulous. I'm beautiful. You're beautiful. Everything's wonderful.
If everybody can be like that in the world, that would be I would love it. Here's a tarot deck. Here's an oracle deck. Here's my tarot card. Who cares?
Oh my gosh.
Okay, so anything else more to say?
I don't think so.
I don't think so. So it's time to play.
Time.
Cleanse, bless, or hex. Cleanse, bless, or hex.
Cleanse, bless, or hex.
What are your 3 choices?
I think I've tried to get some that I didn't think you'd pick. So I don't know if his name is Gene or Gilles or John. Gilles? Is it Gilles?
Yeah.
So the French architect.
Mm-hmm.
Neville, I think his name is. That's the old painter who paints the vaginas. His lovely wife out in the country. And then I thought I'd bring back Skipper because we hadn't talked about little Skip for a minute, who's all strung out on Miranda sex. Can't get enough.
I have almost the same. I have Amelita. I have to have Amelita in there. Amelita, Gilles, and Skipper. So Amelita is the crazy, living her life, Italian woman. Gilles is the French architect, which leave Carrie $1,000 cash in on the nightstand, and then Skipper is the Miranda obsessive lover.
Yeah, he's very sweet and he's very obsessed with her, and she's just he's so annoying.
So, well, maybe we should put it all together. So, Jill, Amalita, Skipper, and what is her name? His name?
Neville, I think. The artist.
How do you
I
spell
think
it?
it's Neville. Neville. I think that's what they said his name was. My hair is just doing a thing this time.
The choices.
Okay.
And architect, Geos.
So in your so in your version, well, 4. How do we do all 4? Someone has to do double duty. I get to have 2 husbands, or I get to kill 2 people.
You just leave one behind. Who cares?
Oh, okay. Oh gosh. Boy, I feel like the 3 is so important that you have to force the decision. All right. So if I could cleanse, bless,
bye, Jennifer.
and hex, cleanse. Okay, honestly, I want to bless Amalita, and we can just run around the world ruining other people's lives, spending their money, and being best friends. And she's beautiful. So I'll go with bless Amalita. I'm gonna, since I have 4 options.
One of the viewers said you can double down. You can double down. You can double kill.
Double down. I can double dip. Okay.
You can double whatever. Double. Yeah, I like that.
Okay, then I guess I'm gonna cleanse Neville.
Oh.
Yeah, I'm interested. I mean, he's so. What's the worst that could happen? You know, like.
Okay.
He has an interest in something that I feel like it might be good to have an interest in.
Okay.
And then, so I guess I'm gonna hex Gil. I guess I was gonna cleanse him, but I think I'll hex him, and I'll go ahead and hex Skipper too. He's got to go.
I'm being super fancy right now. Oh my goodness, look at that!
Oh wow, we have this scrolling.
I was like, so cleanse is F, bless is married, hex is kill, right? And these are the choices: Jills, Amalita, Skipper, Neville. So you will bless Neville. You will.
No, I'm gonna bless Amalita.
You bless Amalita, cleanse Neville. Interesting, very interesting. And then what else?
And I think I'm gonna hex Skipper. And I'm on the fence of a cleanse or a hex with Geo.
5 seconds. 5.
He is beautiful.
4.
And I could use $1,000.
3.
But also, all right, 2. I'll cleanse Geo. I'll cleanse him.
So you only have Skipper.
Yeah. That seems so mean. I should hex Geo, but I don't think he had bad intentions. So I'm sorry, Skippy. You need to be put out of your misery, like a little lovesick puppy dog. So Old Yeller situation.
For me, is bless Amalita. Bless Amalita. It might be annoying at times to wake up to. Why? Let's have coffee. Where are we going today? Are we going to Paris to have croissant? It might be very annoying, but it will be fun.
Right.
It will keep my spirit high. So I will bless Amanita. I will cleanse Gilles. I'll cleanse Gilles because I feel like I'm going to use my power also, the power of sex. And, maybe it can turn into a blessing situation.
That's the thing about that situation. It was so romantic and sweet. I feel like it could have been more.
Yep. It could have been more. I would have asked Amanita for his number, maybe. And then maybe I will talk to him later. I don't know. And of course, everybody knows. Everybody knows. Everybody follows me in YouTube knows that I have a weakness for Frenchmen. That accent. So I just can't. And then I will hack both Skipper and Neil.
They both have to go.
Go. Done. Skipper, like, get a grip. Like Neil, I'm like, I don't know. You want to paint my what? It is what it is. And I don't know. You already have a wife, and then
just no.
No. Okay, let's see the chat. Kitty said, use cleanse, of course. Big Frenchman. Lucy said, cleanse Gilles. Bless Amelita and Skipper. Okay. We have a soft heart right there for Skipper. And hacks the... You're the only one that wants to cleanse him.
I see potential. I see potential. You all are like, oh, he's old. Oh, he's obsessed with vaginas. That obsession might be not a bad thing, guys and gals and other.
That's true. That's very true. Amanita cleanse with Kitty. That's wonderful. And then hacks Skipper, of course. Oh, poor Skipper. And also hacks. How do you say his name?
Neville.
Neville.
I'm pretty sure that was his name.
Neville. Hector said.
This is the comment of the day. Can we do comment awards? I just made that a thing because this one wins.
Hector
says
that you can say it. This is the comment of the day.
Hector says you could always kill Skipper. He would still be around as the most faithful ghost.
Amen to that. We all know that. We all know that. Oh, can you even? That is so sad. That's why we have to bless. We have to cleanse him. Because otherwise, he will always be. Can you imagine? He will always be around you when you're having sex. We cannot.
Oh, thanks.
We cannot. You brought up a valid point, Hector. You brought up a if we hex him, he will be around forever. Forever.
If we're using hex literally as putting bad magic on him, I don't want to do that because he is sweet. He's just drawn into Miranda's web and she's not into it.
That's true. Eventually, after we hex him, we have to cleanse him anyway.
Right.
Because if he's going to be a ghost, we have to cleanse him and
bless all the holy water if you're going to be hanging around my place.
More work for us. We should have just cleansed him, send him on his way, be done. What else? Tigers of Bliss said, guys like Skipper don't exist, even though what Miranda did him was pretty F up anyway. Which, well, you would be surprised. You would be surprised. I have one.
I've had some little puppy dogs, yeah.
I have one Skipper experience. And I don't think I was mean to him, but it was just a little, the timing was not right. Yeah. I mean, the guy has no problem breaking up with someone when he's inside him just because you call to say hi at the exact moment. Where is he going? Is that Skipper? We go with him.
I think that might be in an upcoming episode.
Right.
It sounds familiar, but I'm not sure.
Okay. Stardust say, I'll clean Samalita and Jules. Yes. Hack Skipper and Neville. I'm not ready to cleanse. I'm not ready to cleanse anyone. Okay. You mean you haven't blessed, you're not ready to bless anyone, right?
Yeah. I see.
What a wonderful episode. Thank you so much.
How much fun.
We have to do this. We have to have that.
That is it. That's a new thing. We just did that. Now we have comment awards. I'm going to put it all over the social media. You're famous now, Hector.
Famous Hector. Thank you so much for joining on a Friday afternoon. That was so much fun for all those new people coming. We'll come back probably next week to do episode 6. I think that's the last episode for season 1, I think. Is it?
Really?
I think so.
Is it a quick? I'd have to check too. Yeah.
I think so. Let me see. HBO. And then, of course, you have to remember to follow Stella over at the podcast.
Yes,
world.
please. Let me see the kitty. I'm just showing Swiper to our viewers here. Oh, did you hear your name, Swipes? Yeah. Oh, stretching. So yeah, so we'll do it. Oh, Hector says there's 12 episodes. That sounds right.
Oh, there is
Okay.
12. There is 12.
All right. Well, we'll see you next week.
And let me do this. Thank you so much for watching. Remember to subscribe and turn on the notification bell so we know when we go live for our next Hacks in the City. It will be episode 6 next week. I'm super excited about that. And last but not least,
Blessed be, bitches.
have a good weekend.
Bye.
Bye. Mwah.